Great to have you. Welcome to the program. Thanks. It is the Joe Pags Show. 1-800-383-9624, joepags.com. Really do appreciate you stopping by. Getting a lot of great feedback from wonderful radio stations everywhere. We love our home base, our flagship in San Antonio. You know that you're doing okay. And again, I don't pat myself in the back too much. I mean, I do sometimes when I'm making fun of myself being sarcastic. But you know you're doing all right, Carrie. And you as well, and Polo and Karina too, and Michelle and Chris and everybody in New York. Because I'm getting people get mad when they preempt the show for the Spurs. Mm-hmm. Now, I have to make this as clear as I can. The San Antonio Spurs are San Antonio. When you talk about San Antonio, even if you're from far away, when you mention San Antonio, if you're a sports fan or if the person you're talking to knows anything about sports, they say the Spurs immediately. And the second thing they might say is the Riverwalk and the Alamo, certainly. So they are San Antonio. So when you write me to get mad that our flagship took us off for sports, or any of the great radio stations take us off for sports, just keep in mind, I'm not going to be on your side on that one. I get it, I understand it, and I'm glad that you like the show enough. Hold on a second, Carrie, talk about something. Hold on.
What are you doing?
Well, I have to log onto the computer. If I don't log onto the computer, I can't do the phones, right?
Seriously, why can't you do this during the break?
Look, I had an audio issue that I had to solve, okay?
An audio issue. He told
and now
you
it's
probably
solved.
Wasn't going to work. And
okay. So now you're telling John, look, you said it wasn't going to work.
No, he was right.
He said it wouldn't be. He didn't think it would be good enough, and he was right. So I went back to the big black wires coming out of my ears. But again, long story short, I don't care if your station is the Tiger station or the Lion station or the Dolphin station. Oh, the damn Dolphins! They just stink this year. Or the Spurs station. If they're going to preempt us for sports, that makes sense. Usually, sports help to define the local area. So believe me, I understand that. I wanted to talk just a bit about this election. And actually, the state of our country right now. I'm not going to get all philosophical. I'm just going to drop some facts on you. 8 years ago, gay marriage, marriage had a definition. It was between a man and a woman. Even Barack Obama, the then candidate, the then senator, who didn't do much, didn't show up to work much, didn't vote much, even he said it's between one man and one woman. Even Hillary Clinton said it's between one man and one woman. 8 years ago, you had a lot more people working than you have working now. And you had many fewer people who were out of the workforce. I mean, you've got 94 plus million people now who are of working age who are not in the workforce. Think about that. 8 years ago, you had a debt, a national debt, which was disgusting. It was $9 trillion. Disgusting. Now it's approaching 20. 8 years ago, almost, before the election, just keep in mind, before the election of Barack Obama, we had a system of medical that wasn't perfect. It was far from perfect. But you could choose the doctor you wanted to go to. You could choose whether you wanted to have insurance or not. And you could choose a plan that made sense to you. It still was exorbitant. It still was too costly. But it was so much better, head and shoulders better than it is now. 8 years ago, we had a top tax rate of 35%. You also had the ability to, if you were giving charitably, to deduct it at that level too. Obama pushed to have it down to 28% and pushed corporate taxes and taxes for those who are making more money to push their rate up to almost 40%. That actually happened. We have a difference in this country where 8 years ago, it was okay to tell somebody who was a man dressing like a woman, hey, dude, what are you doing? 8 years ago, it was okay to say, hey, mom and dad, your child is 3. Why are you dressing that boy like a girl or that girl like a boy? We had a different way of looking at things. 8 years ago, we would have been beside ourselves had anybody publicly disrespected and dishonored our flag the way these football players are doing today. And a singer, for God's sakes, the other day in San Francisco did. 8 years ago, we did have a very different America. You got Barack Obama out on the stump today, the President of the United States, out on the stump today talking about how you're so much better than you were 8 years ago. No, we're not. 8 years ago, we believed in the country. 8 years ago, we believed that the future looked brighter. Today, not so much. The idea that somehow 8 years later we're better and we're better off, and most of us aren't, and Hillary Clinton is going to take us to the next level of better off, stop and let me off before that train goes to the better off land, because better off doesn't look good to me. We had a system where, yeah, we had a lot of different religions in the country, but we knew that we were based on Judeo-Christian values. We were based on laws from the Magna Carta, which mentions God all the time. 8 years ago, we were based on Judeo-Christian values and the Ten Commandments, which was a huge guide in our laws. Does that mean that if you don't believe in God or Christianity or in something, a higher power, that you can't be involved? Of course you can be involved, as long as you understand the rules of the game. It would be like playing basketball. You go to the park, you're going to play basketball, and you start playing and you shoot, and they give you 1 point. You're like, okay, we're going to play the game where we get 1 point. They shoot, they give themselves 3 points. We say, well, hold on a second. I don't understand. I thought I knew the rules of the game. Oh, no, we just make them up as we go. And follow me here. This is what I mean. In our society, it's a Judeo-Christian society. We are not a nationally Christian nation. We're not a nationally Jewish nation. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying our way of doing things, our way of life is based on a Judeo-Christian calendar, belief system, and value system. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the truth. You go overseas and you have actually Muslim governments, Sharia law. You have governments that are Hindu. You have actually, when you go overseas, you are told this is how we do it here. Either you comply or you get the hell out, or you might be jailed. Here we say, this is our value system. We believe in Christmas. We celebrate Halloween. We have Easter. New Year's Day is January 1st. Some others have other New Years. We just had the Jewish New Year recently. We have a society that believes in certain things, and that's okay. And when you come here, you either take part in that and you believe in that, or you don't. What happened 8 years ago, it was the beginning of forget, don't ask, don't tell. In fact, we should start paying for transgenders, which are people with mental illness who don't understand that their body says one thing while their head is saying something else. We should get the mental help between you and me. But we live in a society now to where we're actually paying for prisoners to get sex change operations. That's what we're doing. That's who we've become. And if you question it, believe me, there are some of you right now who feel very uncomfortable with what I'm saying. Some of you feel very uncomfortable with what I'm saying, even though you agree with me, because we have been indoctrinated to believe that our way of life is no good. We've been indoctrinated to believe that our way of life is somehow bad or intolerant or unaccepting or homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, or blackophobic, racist. That's who we are. We're somehow a racist nation if you don't shut your mouth. We're also a nation where all of Bill Clinton's accusers are lying and aren't deserving of airtime. And all of Donald Trump's accusers have no reason to lie. That's where we live today. So as President Obama and Michelle Obama and Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton are all out there ginning up a more offensive this and intolerant that and racist this and something phobic the other thing, is they're ginning all that up. Keep in mind what our country looked like 8 years ago. The president said he would fundamentally change the history of the United States of America. He has succeeded. He has been a wild, crazy success. We're nowhere near what we used to be. Some say that's great. I say not so much. Keep it here.